So yeah, the title for this movie couldn't be more accurate because Halloween, the franchise, it just needs to end. And welcome to my safe haven, everybody. Thank you guys so much for clicking and joining me for another review here on the Black Gay Comic Geek channel. If this is your first time checking me out, hey, how's it going? Thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Michael. I call myself the Black Gay Comic Geek and I always say the things that I love to talk about on my channel has blood, sex, gore, and magic, just like it says on the shirt, which if you also like blood, sex, gore, and magic, and you want to get yourself some Black Gay Comic Geek merch, click the link in the description box below and check out my merch store. You can get this shirt, you can get it on a mug, you can get it on a pillow. You can also get a shirt that says, welcome to my safe haven, and check out my merch, decolonize your fantasy, etc., etc. But also with that, so I like to talk about superheroes, I like to talk about comic books, I like to talk about action movies, I like to talk about sci-fi, I like to talk about horror movies, and I like to talk about black representation and queer representation. So if that's something that you are interested in, get you a shirt, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, make sure you watch, like, share, comment, interact on this video for the all gay rhythm. So yeah, we are here to talk about Halloween Ends, which is being touted as the final movie in the Halloween franchise. I doubt it. Wasn't Halloween H2O supposed to be the last one, and then they kept coming out with more? So basically it just means it's the last one of this trilogy until they reboot it in another like 5 years. But this movie is directed by David Gordon Green. It's the third of the trilogy that started with the Halloween movie of 2018. And it tells the story of 4 years after her last encounter with the masked killer Michael Myers, Laurie Strode is living with her granddaughter and trying to finish her memoir. Myers hasn't been seen since, and Laurie finally decides to liberate herself from rage and fear and embrace life. However, when a young man stands accused of murdering a boy that he was babysitting, it ignites a cascade of violence and terror that forces Laurie to confront the evil she can't control. And I'm not gonna be long with this review, but this movie was not good. Now, as if you guys have been following me for any level of time, you know that if a movie is straight up trash, I do a little thing, visual representation on my channel, where you'll see me wearing my bathrobe. So I'm not wearing the robe. So the movie wasn't trash. This movie was not as bad as Halloween Kills. Halloween Kills was god awful. But at the same time, this movie was not good. And it's funny because after I saw Smile, I was just like, wow, 2022 has been a really good year for horror movies and horror franchises. You got Barbarian, you had Scream that came out, you had, I'm drawing a blank on the horror movies that came out. You had X, you got Chucky that's out, television show, you have Interview with the Vampire, and then you get to Halloween Ends. And of course it had to be a Halloween movie that ends the streak of great horror that comes out this year. Hopefully it does not continue. Hopefully the trend does not continue and Halloween Ends just ends up being the one horror movie that isn't good. Now with that said, let me obviously get the positives out of the way. Of course you got Jamie Lee Curtis. She is a legend. She's a horror legend. She is a great actress. She is Laurie Strode. She is the one that arguably started a lot of the horror slasher franchise back in the 70s with the original Halloween movie. She is the original Scream Queen, the original final girl. And so it's always great to see Jamie Lee Curtis in any horror franchise, but let alone the horror franchise that started her career. And so seeing Laurie back, seeing the continuation of her story, seeing her try to get over the PTSD that she basically had to deal with since going back to the original franchise and then going back to Michael Myers coming back in the 2008 movie and then the other Halloween Kills movie, and now her trying to move on with her life because it's been 4 years since Halloween Kills happened. And so she's trying to get out of the dark place that she was that when we first saw her in the 2018 Halloween movie and trying to move beyond that. And so it was nice to see her play that and be in that space for the character of Laurie Strode and see the character of Laurie Strode moving on. Now, I will say I'm still a little peeved that they decided to reboot the whole thing because honestly, I was a fan of the storyline of Michael Myers and Laurie Strode being siblings. Because then it also makes sense of why he keeps constantly going after her. Otherwise, I feel like he would have just moved on. Because if his whole thing is being the boogeyman, if his whole thing is just random acts of violence, he wouldn't constantly, like his motivation is constantly always seeking Laurie, and then he unalives everybody else in his way. But his drive, his motivation is Laurie Strode, and it makes sense in the fact that that's his sister, especially considering when you get to the origins of Michael Myers and he unalived his entire family. He has one left. But anyway, that's not the story that they're telling in this new reboot. They're not siblings, but I just had to put that out there. I liked that original and plus I also liked Halloween H2O, and I do kind of wish the franchise ended with H2O. I really enjoyed that movie. But anyway, with that, while Laurie Strode and Jamie Lee Curtis was in this movie, and she was in this movie and played a role in this movie way more than she did in Halloween Kills. In Halloween Kills, she was barely in the movie. And I was just like, this franchise is built off of Jamie Lee Curtis and, of course, Michael Myers and the dynamic between the two. But you're just throwing a Halloween movie together without Jamie Lee Curtis. What are you doing? I guess they listened to us this time because she was a major focus in this movie, just like she was in the first 2018 Halloween movie. So I'm glad they at least did that. But with that said, like, the majority of this movie focused on a new character. He was the majority of the focus of the movie. It wasn't Jamie Lee Curtis, even though she was in it a lot. I can't think of the character's name. Gonna have to look it up real quick. Hold up. The character's name is Corey, played by Rohan Campbell, and it plays into a lot of the paranoia of the town that started with Halloween Kills, where they were randomly going after that one guy that was in the hospital because they thought he was Michael Myers, and it started the whole mob mentality. And that's basically what they're continuing on in this movie, where it's like Michael Myers hasn't been seen for the last 4 years, but any random killing, anything that goes wrong in the town, they instantly want to try to blame someone and then try to accuse them of being Michael Myers or say they're inspired by Michael Myers, etc. So you have this instance but because there's this thing going around in town about how he's being accused of murdering this little boy, so then now this paranoia and everything regarding Corey. And so that's what the majority of this movie's following, him and his storyline. And while it is interesting, and I don't fault Rohan for his acting, he did a good job as acting. I'm like, I don't care about this. This is supposed to be the last movie of the Halloween franchise. Why are you introducing this new character when you should be really wrapping up Laurie and her granddaughter, especially because Laurie's daughter died in Halloween Kills. And just like in Halloween Kills, a lot of the choices that these characters make, especially the character of Allison, who is Laurie's granddaughter, like, I feel like they totally dumbed her down in this movie to justify the choices that she ends up making, especially the choices that she ends up making with the character of Corey, and then also the choices that she ends up making against her grandmother, Laurie, especially after everything that she's been through. They make it seem like the last two movies didn't happen for her to make the choices and do the things that she does. And to be perfectly honest, like, it makes no sense. Now, with that said, like, once the movie starts to ramp up and get to the kills are great. Like, it's gory, there's blood, there's gore, and the way they show it and the different types of kills that they do in this movie, like, that's the thing that, like, if for the horror fans, for the slasher fans, you're really gonna get invested into the kills. But in terms of the overall story, I was just like, And even with this movie being called Halloween Ends, the end of Michael Myers, the end of this trilogy, supposedly Halloween is gonna be over. Like, the way it concluded and the way they, I guess, finalized the story of Michael Myers, whatever, I was just like, I feel like it was better done, handled better in Halloween H2O. Like, again, I go back to Halloween H2O. That was a better conclusion to the Halloween franchise and the Halloween story and the story between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers. And then you compare it to this and it was just like, yeah, I'm not a fan. But yeah, but like I said, it wasn't as bad as Halloween Kills, but I don't even really know what else to say about this movie except I didn't really care for it. So I would say it's not a flop, but it's definitely a miss. But the question is, have you guys seen Halloween Kills? Or Halloween Ends, rather? Hey, have you seen Halloween Kills? Have you seen the 2018 Halloween? Where does this movie rank in terms of this trilogy? Of course, I would say the 2018 Halloween movie was way better by leagues compared to these other two sequels. But Also, on top of that, where does this movie rank in terms of the entire Halloween franchise? Of course, I would say Halloween 1, Halloween 2, and then for me, Halloween H2O. Like, I wish they didn't retcon Halloween H2O. I wish they retconned all the other movies, but kept Halloween H2O and just ended it there. So yeah, that's really what I got. Actually, it makes me want to go back and watch Halloween H2O. But anyway, let me know all of your thoughts. Again, hopefully you made it to the end of this video. Watch, like, share, comment, interact for the all gay rhythm. If this is your first time checking out one of my videos, please check out the other videos on my channel. If you like what you see, please subscribe for more and hit that bell notification button so you're alerted every single time I post a new video. And tell your friends, families, and neighbors about my channel to help me continue to grow. And as always, I will catch you guys next time.